welcome to my channel today. Today's share is for Cut to You. You can see I've kind of started to put things together here. I'm using this big cut file. It's actually a Traveler's Notebook cut file that I have blown up to really big to fill up most of my page. I picked this background paper from Pink Fresh Studio because I love this and I love this. I just really like it. I chose the red orangey colour because it's here, but it also pulls on the orange from his shirt. I've got some bits and pieces here. I'm going to back these big words with some vellum, and you can see I've laid out a couple of little clusters, so this process should be pretty quick. I hope you enjoy. Hey my scrappy friends, so I am back. You can see here that I'm just pulling all the bits apart that I've put there, and I've kept them in 3 separate piles because I have the memory of a goldfish. So I put them in 3 separate piles so that I have a rough idea of which embellishments are going with which cluster. I'm going to start by backing my cut file here with some vellum, and you can see I've just put glue around the outside of the letters, and I'm going to glue my vellum on. I bought many years ago a stack of vellum in a really odd shape. It's almost a square, but it doesn't have an A4 side, or yeah, it's weird. So I'm going to use that because I may as well go through that before I start cutting into my 12 by 12s when I don't need to. So you can see I'm just sticking all of that down, and I'm going to go back over with, sorry, not I'm going to go back over, I'm going to trim that all out with my scissors, and then the bits in between I'm just going to use my craft knife, so in between like the T and the H, where I don't want it with vellum, I'm just going to use my craft knife to trim that out. I thought I'd cut this out, but apparently I thought you needed to watch it for some reason. So you can see that's all backed. Now I recently purchased I purchased some self-adhesive foam. I did have a 40% off voucher for Spotlight, so I was like, I'm just going to buy some because it's going to be the easiest way to make this cut file do what I want it to do. So I've stuck all that on off camera as well. This is the background paper that I'm going to work with, and I really love how this design ends up. I really love how it all comes together. So I'm just getting my placement right there, and I think, so I'm going to pencil in where my 3 main clusters are going to be, and this is the only mixed media that I am going to apply, and it is just some black splatters. This is using my Heidi Swap Black Velvet Colour Shine and a paintbrush, and I don't even add a lot of splatters. I just add a little bit of something to the background. So yeah, something different for me, but like I said, I really like the way this page came out. I wanted a couple of bigger splatters, so I'm just using my paintbrush and painting those in as well. I'm not too worried if they go a bit further than where I want them, because they blend in and you can't even see them. I just wanted to show you there. Every time I use my black colour shine, I manage to get black all over my hands. Don't know why, just special. So I'm just replacing my cut file and my photo here. I'm going to stick my photo down, but first I'm going to write down the date the photo was taken. And I wanted this photo on an angle, and I knew when I started designing this page that I was going to cut the right hand side of the photo off. It's pretty straightforward what I'm doing here. I'm just going to stick my cut file down. The photo is of my children. They had been playing outside and they came in and they were like, "Hey Mum, look at us. I'm him and he's me." It was so funny. There is 2.5 years between my children, and my little guy is, I think, tall for his age, and my big guy, I think, is short for his age. So they can wear each other's clothes without it being obvious, unless you know that they are wearing each other's clothes. So they were out the back playing, and they came in and they're like, "Look, Mum, we're each other. Here's Jacob and I'm Hunter, because we're wearing each other's clothes." Righto, you weirdos. So I just thought I'd run with it because they're not always going to be this young where wearing each other's clothes is entertaining to them. I reckon give it a few years and they'll be like, stop touching my things. So you can see I am just adding my layers here. I've got some stickers, I've got some cut apart labels, and I'm just adding those in a way that I'm happy with them, trying to get those, I've got the green, I've got the blue, I've got the red and the yellow, and I just want all of those colours in those 3 areas. So I'm starting with the bits that I had already pulled out, and I'm just sticking all the things down. So I'm going to start this one with the blue label on the bottom. I have got it's a couple of different shades of green and white arrow that I'm going to lay on top of that. A red circle that says heart this, that I'm going to pop on top there. This says I love these people, or my kind of people, something like that. And I really like the way that lays over the top of that. Down the bottom cluster I've got a couple of ephemera pieces. I don't think I've got any stickers down there at this point. I also pulled out, I think I mentioned it, I pulled out my Vicky Booten hashtag sticker book, because there's some of the same colours in this sticker book that I want to make sure I get in my clusters. Found this page of stars, and they've got that same, it's not a true yellow, but it is yellow. It's like a mustardy kind of yellow that I'm adding into my clusters as well. And I'm also going to add in, I think, a blue one up the top. Yep. So all that's left for me to do here, I've got my giant title on, I've got my photo on, I have a place to journal, and I'm just going to add lots of different little bits and pieces in those 3 clusters. I have got some puffy hearts here from Ellie Studio. So when Ellie Studio had a sale recently, I can't remember when, I did buy a few bits and pieces. I stocked up, so I'm using a bunch of the puffy hearts here, and everything that went on before the feather and the stars did, all of the embellishments were from Ellie Studio, and obviously those puffy hearts are as well. It's got the exact perfect green colour in it and the exact perfect darker blue colour in it. So again, I'm just making sure I've got an even balance of those colours in those 3 clusters. And I'm using some foam adhesive as well as some flat adhesive, just to add a bit of interest. With that big cut file, I didn't feel like I needed to add too much more, especially with that with that pattern on the right hand side of the page. Adding in a few more of these hearts because they're super cute, and I didn't know when to stop. I thought about adding in some of those stars, and I don't think I do add the stars in. I'm just trimming off the excess of my photo here. I've had these in my stash for ages. Pretty Little Studio little word stickers. I think they're called Cheeky Monkey or something. So I've just added some funny little phrases. I think I add 3 in each cluster from memory. This top cluster, I end up putting things down and taking them up and then re-adhering them and then moving them, and yeah, as we do. I don't have the layout in front of me, so I can't even tell you what they say off the top of my head. This cut file is actually a traveller's notebook cut file, I think, from memory. But like I said, I've just blown that up to fit my background. And the way that I design in Silhouette Studio, often, especially if I'm working with a big cut file like this, is I will draw in a rectangle the same size as my photo, so that I can work out exactly what size I want to cut things. Once I work out my screen capture software again, because it did something weird, I will record my process for you guys. If that's something that you're interested in, let me know. But yeah, that's how I knew where my photo and my cut file would fit and how I got it just the right size. I know lots of people just randomly cut lots of things. I've tried doing that, and I have not containers, but I have bags full of cuts that I haven't used yet, and I look at them and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them. But when I saw this cut file, it inspired me to do this page, so that's what I did. Here are the close-ups. I've taken close-ups of a couple of different close-ups of the cut file and then of my clusters. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I will make sure I leave links and everything below for the Cut to You, all the pages, and also obviously my blog and all that kind of stuff. Thank you ever so much for stopping by. I hope you've enjoyed this process, and I will be back again very soon with another share. Have a fantastic day.